Hi everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for another soap making video. Now I'm about to do a little series of videos all based on some gemstone soaps which I am releasing for the month of July. So back in June I did 2 videos with some gemstone soaps on them, and it really awakened a childhood passion of mine of collecting gemstones and rocks and things like that. Now I was told about a local supplier for gemstones, and hubby and I paid a little visit in there, and it was like going into a lolly shop for me to see all these gorgeous gemstones and rocks and crystals and things that were there. And I actually learned a little thing or two about hubby as well. He's not very much into the whole spiritual side of things, but he was able to tell me a few different things about gemstones, and I allowed him to pick out some of the stones that I'm going to be using, and he also picked out his favourite stone, which we will be coming up later on in this series. But for now, what we're going to go and do is make a rose quartz soap, and we're using Prosecco rose. Let's go. Okay, so let's get this one started as we always do by pouring that lye water solution into our oils here. I am soaping quite cool. My shed is only 21 degrees today. It is a rather dull and overcast miserable day, but it's actually not too bad. Last weekend it was like this and it was freezing of about 15 degrees, so to be about 21 degrees today, that is pretty good. I'm just going to give that a bit of a stir with the stick blender. I will give it a couple of pulses, and then we're going to split it out for some pink colours. Alright, so we have got that into emulsion there, and we're going to start splitting it out. Now, although I am not very much into the whole chakra and all that sort of side of the gemstones, I'm still going to follow along some of those theories when making these soaps up. So because rose quartz is all about the heart or the stone of love, we're going for some pink colours. In this pot here I have some rose gold mica, and it has this gorgeous pink gold rose tone. So as you shimmer it round in the light, you get these flecks of gold come out. And this other one is called French rose, but I think I might be putting a little bit of pink in there. So the rose quartz is all about the heart chakra, and it is part of the Libra and Taurus zodiac signs, or represents them. And it's associated with the planet Venus, which I believe is a lot to do with the fact that Venus was the goddess of love, and that's why they associate the rose quartz with Venus. And then its elements are that of earth and water, so it's a very calming sort of stone. In my big pot here I am going to put in some titanium dioxide. We'll give that a good little squeeze. And into my white as well, I am going to add in some blizzard mica, because I want to try and capture that shimmer and shine that you get in the gemstones. So I'm just going to get these colours mixed in, and then we'll come back and we'll have a little bit more discussion about the stone. Alright, so I've got those colours mixed in there. So as I was saying, so this stone represents love, and it's love for others, self-love, friendship, and unconditional love as well. And I'll explain a little bit more about that towards the end of the video. It has a very feminine energy to it and encourages compassion and peace and tenderness, and it's said to restore harmony within relationships. Now I'm going to pour a little bit more of that white in there, because I just want that a little bit paler, but without putting in that titanium dioxide. Alright, that is much better. Now, because this is all about love, I just had to go with Prosecco Rose as my fragrance for this one, because when we always talk about love, we think of roses, and a bottle of Prosecco wouldn't go too far astray either. So we'll get that one in there, and what I'm going to do is get this fragrance mixed in. I'm going to actually pour a bit of this white off into the other jug, and then I'm going to pour all of my colours back in here, but on top of each other, and you'll see what I mean in just a moment. Okay, so now we've got that, what I'm going to do is just alternate between these colours. So I'm going to pour some of that light pink in there. I'm now going to go for the darker, and then I am going to pour in a bit of white in between these layers, and I'm just going to pour all of this into the jug. Into the jug and not onto the bench. Oops. Okay, so we've got our colours in there. Let's get our mould, stick this liner back to the sides, and I'm going to start at this end, and I'm just going to let that soap work its way down the mold, and I'm going to make sure that the colour is on my right hand side. This is almost like doing a Clyde slide, but I think I've got a bit too much colour for it to be a true Clyde slide. Increase how quick I poured it at the end, just to try and get a really good swirl in there. I'm going to get this bucket scraped out, then we'll come out, do a bit of texturing on the top, and pop the rose quartz on here. Actually changed my mind. I was going to do a spoon top on here, and I've decided after swirling that pink through, this just looks so pretty, I'm going to leave it as is. And now we are going to put our rose quartz on them, and this is the side of gemstones and crystals that I really like. So the rose quartz is a light to medium pink color, but they can also have purple and hazy tones. You can have something as light as this piece here, which is almost a white piece, very hard to see on the camera, but they do come up into these darker sort of shades of pink as well. They are generally found in large chunks with no crystal edges like diamonds and things like that, and they are very, very rarely found in clusters like you find, say, amethysts in clusters. You very, very rarely find your rose quartz in those. They are found worldwide, and they are an igneous rock. Now what that means is that these actually form under very high heat conditions. So you generally find your rose quartz in areas that are very high in volcanic activity, because what happens is they need that heat to melt down other elements and turn into these crystals. The other side of the crystals and gemstones that actually really fascinates me is the mythology and the history that goes with them. And when you understand the mythology and the history of them, you kind of then start to understand where the chakra and everything else comes from for these gemstones. And the mythology of them is a lot older than our today's chakra and zodiac beliefs. So the rose quartz has actually been used since 600 BC. So that's 600 years before Christ, or 600 years before the year 0, which is where we have a lot of our teachings come from. The ancient Romans actually used the rose quartz to show ownership of something, whereas the Egyptians, they actually created what were known as healing masks, which after their pharaohs had died, they would actually cover their faces with these healing masks covered with these rose quartz. And the idea was that when they left them with them in their tombs, it would maintain their pharaoh's beauty when they went into the afterlife, which is where this whole sort of love sort of thing comes from, and that femininity. Now, one of my favorite things is the Greek mythology that goes with these stones. Now, it is said there are quite a number of versions of how it happened, but one of them is that Aphrodite, who is the goddess of love, fought Ares, who was one of her many lovers, and she was fighting Ares to protect one of her other lovers, who was Adonis, who is the god of beauty and desire. Now, it is said that Ares got so cross, he sent boars after Adonis, and the boars stabbed him with their horns or their tusks, and Aphrodite came to his rescue, and as she did, she scratched herself against some briars or some bramble bushes, and as they fell to the floor, their blood intertwined, and what they were where they had actually fell on the floor was some clear quartz. And as the blood of Aphrodite and Adonis mixed together, it stained the color of the clear quartz into the pink that we get in the rose quartz today. And that is also where that whole idea comes from of unconditional love, was the fact that Aphrodite just loved Adonis so much she was going to put her whole life online for him, and that is where this rose quartz has actually come from. And that is the side of the gemstones that I like to read about. Let me bring you down for a closer look. So here is our rose quartz soap up close. I am absolutely loving it. So pleased that I didn't do anything more with that top. Those swirls in the pink really complement the sort of swirls that you get through those rose quartz of all those different pieces. I am going to leave this one sit overnight, and we're going to come back and we are going to have a look at what swirls we've got on the inside of this soap very soon. How beautiful does that look? I think that is absolutely perfect for our rose quartz. It is so delicate and wispy. I think the inside of this is going to be the same as well. Let's get this one lined up. Hopefully we're going to miss all of those gemstones. I think we're going to get lucky there. Maybe just one little bit around. That is looking good. And through we go. We'll take a look at the swirls that we've got on the inside of this one. Alright, so let's take a look inside our soap here, and that is the inside. So we might not have those really delicate swirls that I was hoping to get on this one, but quite often when you look inside the different gemstones, you do get these sort of bulk patches of like darker and lighter colors through them. So I think that really matches in with how the gemstones actually look themselves. The Blizzard mica, that is really pretty throughout that white. It does shine and glisten when it's in the sunlight there. So I'm really pleased with how that has come together, and how the color just kind of wisps all the way around there. And then each of those, you've got your little crystals on there as well, or your little gemstones. Now when these go up onto the website, I do also have it available that you can purchase a little crystal pouch as well. And with the little crystal pouches that we've got available on the website, they are handmade, and they're interchangeable as well. So you can actually change the stones according to what you are wanting to wear on that day. So you'll find those on the website too. Now we will be adding even more gemstones to the website. We are starting off with all the sort of well-known, very popular ones, but we are also adding in some others as well. So keep an eye on the website, and also watch along on Instagram with me, because I will be posting soaps I have been making with all the different crystals and showing them as they become available on the website. So I hope you have enjoyed watching how I have made the rose quartz soap. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you then. Bye.